This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Battle had another huge scoring game for you the other night. That's, I think, 4 straight games in double figures. I'm just curious with him, has something clicked for him, or is it a confidence thing, or just what do you think's going on with him lately?
I mean, he's just he's a player that's in a groove right now. He's got great confidence. Guys have done a good job getting him the ball. We've tried to add some sets to get him some different looks, and he's playing at a really, really high level right now and put together some great games from an offensive standpoint. And we certainly need him to continue to be offensively aggressive.
And we've seen Brazil the last couple of games. I'm wondering if you have any update on Graham and Minifield as well.
Yeah, Graham done a great job rehabbing. He will be for sure available. Against Kentucky. Keon is still progressing. I'm assuming he could be available as well on Saturday.
And then one more for me, with having TB back, with Graham being back in the fold, does that maybe give you a little bit more freedom to play one of those guys alongside Mackay, or do you want to stick with the 4-guard lineup, or just kind of how do you approach that, working those guys back in?
That's a great question. I mean, I think we'll end up playing, a little bit bigger down the stretch than the 4 guards. I mean, I think that, that happened out of necessity. I thought we played well in some games. But certainly, we went with a little bit bigger lineup when we made that run late game the other night. So I think that you'll see, we'll try to get TB more involved in the next few games. And so I think we'll have a little bit more of a traditional look. It doesn't mean based on the way a game is going or matchups that we won't go back to 4 guards, but I do think, at least right now and today, we would plan on having a little bit more of a traditional look during the course of a game.
Scotty.
Yeah, Eric, I guess I'll keep the TB theme going a little bit. I'm just curious for your thoughts, maybe good and bad, perhaps, just on what he brought the other night against Vandy before he fouled out.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously the fouling out in a short amount of time, we want him to, be able to play a little bit more, but that was his first extended minutes, really. I think it's hard on a team when a player comes back from an injury. It's hard on the individual player. It changes rotations and makes that a little bit more complicated for everybody involved. I thought he did a great job range rebounding, meaning rebounding out of his area, and I think that's something that we've really missed. He can just go up and get, rebounds that maybe other people, don't have the ability to do because of his length, his reach, and his athleticism. So, and I think he's looking forward to, trying to get back in the flow as well.
The other thing I've got is you guys' 3-point defense has been pretty dang good the last 6 games percentage wise. I guess is anything in particular kind of spearheaded that?
A lot of drills. That was a hole, Scotty, that that we had. We know that it was one of our weaknesses, and we've done a really good job of fixing that. And then obviously we still have other areas that we've got to continue to fix, and can't plug one hole and then find another hole. So, trying to play more consistent basketball is, both individually and collectively continues to be something that we want to do moving forward.
Bob.
Eric, I guess I'll keep the Trevin train going here. He did have some big baskets there for you late, that big 3. And just how do you think he played overall, and maybe what do you anticipate him being able to maybe take another step forward on Saturday, even though obviously it's against Kentucky and Rupp Arena?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he played really well, Bob. I mean, look at what he did against Duke. He was able to make threes and rebound the ball at a high level, and certainly, we did not have him, last time we played Kentucky. And, he's also a player he's only really, he got, one extended minutes, meaning last game. So he's still working his way into shape. He's still working his way into rhythm. He's still, all those things are still a work in progress.
He's obviously a talented guy and he's got size and he was, first team all conference preseason for a reason. Just what do you think he can bring to the table, even coming back off an injury and maybe still working some rust off?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I think he can add offensive rebounding to our team, which is an area that we've lacked. So yeah, offensive rebounding. I think he can be a perimeter threat for us with three. He's got the ability to tip dunk. He can run the floor and get some, easy baskets, hopefully in transition based on his ability to run. And then defensively, we've been a really good shot blocking team all year. With the exception maybe of a few games in like last game, but he can add shot blocking to us as well from a defensive standpoint. And he's one of our better defensive rebounders.
He's obviously dealt with the injury, coming back from the rehab and then the ankle and then the knee soreness again. Just how do you think he's handled everything? Just how would you sum up his season so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think much like the entire team, we've had some good moments and we've had some moments that we'd like to get better. And certainly when a player goes out with an injury, that can, he rehabbed really hard all year and then he goes out for, nobody wants to, be out in the middle of the year. That's a hard thing to regain your flow, especially this late in the season.
And then you're 2-0 in Rupp Arena as a coach. I can't believe I haven't researched it, but there can't be too many guys that started 2-0 in Rupp Arena. I know it's a different year, different season, different rosters, all that stuff. But the fact you've had success there, Devo's, was part of those 2 wins. And Kentucky has lost some home games. I know they're loaded for Bear, but the fact you've had success there, and they've, Calipari, I think, said they've actually played better on the road this year. I don't know if Alabama would agree with that, but just what do you think about being 2-0 there, and the fact that maybe they've been a little vulnerable at home this year.
Well, first of all, Coach Cal in Kentucky, wherever they're playing, I mean, they're a national championship contending team this year. What those 2 teams did in the past is they went in there with confidence, they went in there with toughness, they went in there with grit, they went in there with belief. So hopefully our team, this year's team, can carry some of those characteristics into the game. If you don't have those characteristics, it's going to be hard to win in Rupp. But certainly, going into those games, that was how those 40 minutes unfolded in the games that we were able to have success there. But as we've mentioned, every team, every season, every game, new identities are created and the game takes on themes of themselves. So I don't really think that our, winning 2 games there, I don't really think that has any true impact, Bob, on this particular game.
Okay, I got a couple more if time allows. I'll turn back to Mike. Thanks. And you're killing my angle.
Jackson?
Hey, Mus, just wondering, you guys are obviously, you're just 1 game out of that position to avoid the first day in the SEC tournament. Has that been something discussed at all with the guys, or is that, can't really think about that at this point?
I mean, I think you discuss the state of where you are based on, where your team is mentally. And, at some points we have discussed it, and other points, there's been no reason because, we have 3 games left, and the biggest theme is how do you compete, give yourself a chance to win, the next game on your schedule. And then if you do that, good things kind of happen, Jackson. So, in our mind, it's how do we get ready for Kentucky? We can't control what other teams do in the league. Obviously, we have a very difficult schedule the last 3 games. I mean, playing at Kentucky, playing at Alabama, and LSU at home, a team that they did what they wanted last time in Baton Rouge against us. So we have a difficult 3 games. You got to get ready for each game. Each game's going to take shape based on how the players on the 2 different rosters compete against each other.
Anthony?
Yeah, Kentucky's offense has been really clicking over the past couple games, over 90 points in both. How do you kind of, I guess, prepare for a team that's clicking on that level, and how do you, I guess, how have you assessed what they've looked like over the past couple games?
Yeah, Anthony, I don't have the stats from when we played them before, but I can tell you that they were clicking offensively then. That I promise, because we talked about transition defense. We talked about having good shot selection and how bad shot selection leads to their runouts. Again, I don't have the numbers, but I'm pretty sure when we played them last time, they might have even been offensively just as powerful as they are now. Because I vividly remember and have our practice plans sitting on my desk, and transition defense, shot selection, not turning the ball over that leads to their easy baskets, all a big part. Certainly our 13 turnovers in game one impacted the game in the second half when they scored 39 points. But the 24 points in the first half, maybe as good as anybody's played Kentucky this year in a half. Again, I don't have their stats in front of me, but I do know we did a really good job holding them to 24 in one half. 63 points is probably one of their lower scoring games that they've had this year. So yeah, their transition offense is lethal, and they have great 3-point shooting. They stretch the floor out really well. They have a lot of individual tough matchups. Wagner and Reeves in the backcourt. Obviously, Dillingham, one of the most talented players in the country and a high draft pick, did not play against us last game. He really adds to their transition game. And Shepard is as good a transition scorer as there is in the country as well. So a lot of areas that we've got to do a good job in transition.
All right, Bob, one final question.
Eric, you following up on Anthony's question, yeah, 63 points. That was our second lowest total. They scored 6-2 against South Carolina. What did y'all do so well in that game? And I know Cal's, I'm sure, plotting to not have that happen again, but fundamentally, what can you take from that game and carry it over into this one on the defensive end?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of your defensive stuff has to do with what you do offensively. We did a pretty good job rebounding the ball in that particular game. I thought we could have played better defense if we wouldn't have turned the ball over 13 times. I thought our 13 turnovers hurt. You can't turn the ball over on the road. And we did a really good job, Bob, in that game of protecting the rim. I think we had 9 block shots in that particular game. So that helped us, do a fairly decent job on the perimeter defensively in the first half. I think they only made 2 threes in the first half, and then in the second half, when they did score, we did a poor job defending their 3. I think they were 7 of 11 in the second half from 3. So got to get back, got to declare the ball, got to keep the ball in front of you. It all starts with your own shot selection. If you miss shots, the other team's gonna have an opportunity to get out in transition. So shot making becomes important, which hopefully we can make some shots, and that'll help our transition defense.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.